Prescription Thugs is a story about America's obsession with the quick fix, I guess, if you wanted to boil it all down. We have a pharmaceutical drug epidemic in our country. You know, we represent 5% of the world's population, yet we consume 75% of the world's prescription drugs. So I wanted to look into it to see why. My older brother, Mad Dog, who was in my first film, Bigger, Stronger, Faster, passed away about 9 months after I did the first film. And for me, it was just a lot of questions. You know, why was he taking all these drugs? How did he get hooked into this? And shortly after he passed away, I had a hip replacement surgery, and I fell into the same thing that he fell into. And what happened was I raised the money for the movie. I was in the middle of making the movie when I realized, like, hey, I still have a problem. I'm not sober. I can't do this, you know, I can't do this movie. And that was like a lot of pressure that I carried around every day because I was the only one that knew it. So all the other people working on the movie, they didn't know it. My partner, Greg Young, sort of he had an idea, but Greg wasn't about to say anything to me because then that'll shut down the movie, right? So you can see this position I put people in, which isn't a good position. When you do these prescription drugs, and I was doing them with alcohol, you just turn into a different person. It's something that I regret because I'm trying to make a movie about this, and I'm not setting a good example. So halfway through the movie, I got sober, and that was actually somewhere that I needed to go in order to make this film, because I never I thought I would never go through what my brother went through. So we were making this movie, and when it got really bad for me, I realized, like, this is what I have to do, not only for myself, but to be able to explain this to other people. The biggest solution for the prescription drug epidemic would have to be Congress. You know, it would have to be members of Congress rallying together. The problem is that we have 535 people in Congress, and on average they get paid about $445,000 a year from Big Pharma. So it's hard to get anything past Congress, because who's gonna make an anti-drug bill when the drug companies are paying for the politicians? Getting sober is an individual thing. You know, there's people that'll stop cold turkey. I couldn't do that. I had to go to a rehab facility. I went to a place called Cliffside, Malibu. It's not about judgment, you know, it's about people getting better. People are, they're sick. They're not bad people, and that's what people need to understand is, if you have an addict in your family, it's not their fault. By now, they're so far into addiction that they can't help it. So rather than judge them, you know, it's love them, support them. A lot of times, people don't know how they're hurting their families and hurting their friends. Every person has their own thing that happens in their life that triggers them to get help, and you know, you just got to be there to support them. I went to USC Film School, and I think going to film school is a great way to get the tools that you need, but it's not the be-all, end-all. You need to be out in the field. You need to be practicing your craft. So if you're getting into documentaries for the money, forget it. If you're getting into it to help people, that's you know, you have to start with genuine intentions. For the young kids, I would just say, learn your craft.